Hello, everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe me. The debate between the Audi R8 and the McLaren 720S is one that every true supercar enthusiast finds irresistible, because while both cars exist in the same exotic performance category, they appeal to very different personalities and driving philosophies, and when you dig deep into their engineering, design ethos, heritage, and ownership experience, you realize that choosing between them is not simply a matter of picking the one with more horsepower or the higher top speed, but rather deciding which kind of supercar lifestyle you want to embrace. So let's start with the Audi R8, a car that has become somewhat of a legend in the supercar world since its introduction in 2006, not only because it redefined what people expected from an everyday drivable exotic, but also because it carried the aura of being directly related to Audi's multiple Le Mans victories, which was evident in its Quattro all-wheel drive system, its mid-engine layout, and of course, its glorious naturally aspirated V10 engine that it shares with the Lamborghini Huracan. And this engine is really the heart and soul of the R8, because in a world where turbochargers and electrification dominate, the R8 stubbornly sticks to a high-revving, naturally aspirated character that rewards you with an unmatched visceral sound, linear power delivery, and a driving purity that feels increasingly rare today, producing anywhere from 562 horsepower in the base model to 602 horsepower in the performance variant, propelling the car from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 3 seconds flat. And while that number is impressive, it's not necessarily class-leading anymore, but the way it delivers that acceleration, with an orchestra of mechanical noise and razor-sharp throttle response, makes it feel more special than the numbers suggest, while the McLaren 720S on the other hand represents a completely different philosophy, coming from a company whose sole purpose is to build high-performance cars and Formula One race machines, and the 720S embodies McLaren's obsession with lightness, aerodynamics, and raw speed, boasting a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine that produces a staggering 710 horsepower and 568 lb-ft of torque, numbers that immediately set it apart from the R8. Because when you combine that power with a lightweight carbon fiber monocoque chassis and an obsessive focus on shedding every unnecessary kilogram, the result is a car that rockets from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.7 seconds and can achieve a top speed of 212 mph, putting it firmly in the hypercar league even though it's technically marketed as a supercar. And when you start comparing the way these two machines make you feel behind the wheel, the differences become even clearer, because the R8 is a supercar that's designed to be driven every day, with Audi's legendary build quality, refinement, comfort, and technology making it a car that you can realistically take on long road trips, use in the city, and even drive in bad weather thanks to its all-wheel drive system, whereas the McLaren 720S is a car that demands more from you as a driver, rewarding skill and bravery with track-level performance that feels otherworldly, but also punishing you if you're careless, because with rear-wheel drive, a mid-mounted twin-turbo engine and lightning-quick steering, it's a much sharper and less forgiving tool, which makes it feel more alive and engaging when you push it, but less practical for everyday use. And when you consider design, the contrast continues, because the Audi R8's design is iconic in its own right, with clean, muscular lines, a wide stance, and that instantly recognizable blade along the side that has become its trademark, while inside, the R8 gives you a driver-focused cockpit with Audi's virtual cockpit digital display, intuitive controls, and a level of ergonomics that few exotics can match, whereas the McLaren 720S looks like it came straight from a wind tunnel, every curve and surface sculpted for aerodynamics, with dramatic dihedral doors that swing upward and make an entrance wherever you go, a cabin that feels futuristic with its floating digital display that rotates into different modes, and visibility that is shockingly good thanks to McLaren's signature teardrop-shaped glasshouse, making it one of the easiest supercars to place on the road despite its extreme performance. And when it comes to handling, the R8 is predictable, confidence-inspiring, and incredibly balanced thanks to Audi's Quattro system and magnetic ride suspension, making it a car that flatters the driver and allows you to explore its limits without fear, while the McLaren 720S feels like a race car with license plates, utilizing McLaren's proactive chassis control 2 system that hydraulically links the suspension to deliver incredible cornering grip, body control, and adaptability, meaning that when you're on a twisty road or racetrack, the 720S simply demolishes corners with a level of composure and speed that vary. Few cars on Earth can match, but where the R8 might win some hearts is in its reliability and ownership experience. Because being an Audi, it benefits from the backing of a major automaker with a large dealer network, easier serviceability, and a reputation for better build quality, whereas McLaren, despite producing some of the most advanced cars in the world, has often been criticized for issues with reliability, software glitches, and limited dealer support, which can make ownership more stressful unless you live near a major McLaren service center. So the real question of which would you choose comes down to your priorities as an enthusiast, because if you want a car that delivers an intoxicating driving experience every single day, that combines exotic looks with everyday usability, and that offers one of the last naturally aspirated supercar engines in existence, then the Audi R8 is a compelling choice. But if you want sheer performance dominance, a car that feels like it, bends the laws of physics with its acceleration and cornering, and an exotic that truly stands out even in the rarefied world of supercars, then the McLaren 720S is almost impossible to beat. And it's also worth mentioning the emotional factor, because while the R8 gives you a soundtrack and drama that feels timeless and emotional, the 720S gives you adrenaline, fear, and thrill in equal measure, making every drive feel like an event. So ultimately, choosing between them is like choosing between two very different visions of what a supercar should be. The Audi R8, the everyday usable exotic with a soul-stirring V10, or the McLaren 720S, the track-bred missile that redefines what's possible on four wheels. And whichever one you pick, you're not just buying a car, you're buying an identity, a philosophy, and a ticket to an exclusive world of performance and passion. But if I had to frame it as a personal decision, I'd say the Audi R8 appeals to the driver who wants the best of both worlds without sacrificing comfort, while the McLaren 720S is for the purist who wants the closest thing to a Formula One car for the road. So the question I leave to you is, would you choose the everyday supercar icon, or the wild child of the hypercar world? Because in the end, the answer reveals more about you than it does about the cars themselves.